That's how I feel. If I'm the president of the United States and some terrorist group kills 1 American, I'm taking 1,000 of theirs out. I want the price to fuck with Americans to be so high that no one in the world dares to even think about it. So from that perspective, it's like, okay, what is actually going on here? So again, I wish I could snap a finger and cure everything in Gaza and cure everything in Israel. And whether you think they're freedom fighters or terrorists, Hamas, whatever you think they are, they were founded in 1987, the year of the cat. They committed their biggest attack in 2023, the year of the cat. Again, astrology at work. But that's the perspective I want to ask my friend over here. Do you believe Israel is justified at all in what it's doing?
No, absolutely not. That's an easy question. So
that's fine.
And I mean, there's a question about how many people were killed on the Israeli side by Hamas versus by the IDF itself, because it's been established that the IDF was using the Hannibal Directive. So the Israeli army has this directive where if there's a situation where enemy force is taking hostages or prisoners of war, that the IDF is authorized to kill those civilians or those hostages, those prisoners of war, kill them and kill their captors, just scorched earth, wipe them out. And this is so many of the eyewitness testimony coming from the Israeli side saying that, the people that were shooting us and the weapons that are being used against us, they're coming from the IDF. And there was, I don't know if you saw this footage, Gary, but they're showing like the aftermath of October 7th, like at the Nova Music Festival. And there were all these burnt out cars. There was like over 100 burnt out cars, just completely annihilated. And the weapons that Hamas has can't do that to a car. An RPG cannot turn a car into a molten lump of aluminum and steel. The only thing that can do that are the weapons that the eyewitnesses saw coming from IDF helicopters, meaning these Apache helicopters were firing Hellfire missiles that were just obliterating everything. So what percentage of those killed on October 7th were actually killed by Hamas versus the IDF? That's point number one. Point number two,
what do you think that percentage is, sir? Because Suleiman told me when I had this conversation with him, it was about 500 to 600 that they believe the IDF killed out of the 1,200. So what percentage do you think it is?
It's hard to give a percentage, but let's just say that, first of all, let the 1,000, what percentage of them were IDF soldiers? Because the people that were celebrating at this Nova Music Festival, they were in the IDF. They were conscripted soldiers, watching guard over a concentration camp, basically. Gaza has been a concentration camp for decades. So these soldiers are guards over a concentration camp, and the inmates fight back. So what percentage were IDF soldiers? What percentage were civilians? I would say that I would be surprised if it were more than 150 or 200. That's point number one. Point number two.
Those IDF soldiers that you say that were guarding the prison camp in the festival, were they armed?
Yeah, a lot of them were armed, and a lot of them had their arms in their car, or they had their arms, at the base. And there are so many. Just look at how settlers are walking around in their settlements. Did you watch the Louis Theroux documentary, documentary where he goes
I did not watch that one, no.
Yeah, so he's showing like the average Israeli settler. They just walk around with their ARs. Women are walking around with their ARs. The average settler is just always armed because it's an occupation. They are occupying Palestine, and they're putting the Palestinians in a concentration camp. And then when the Palestinians are tired of being in a concentration camp and getting starved to death, tired of being in this cage and getting bombed periodically by the IDF, then they fight for their lives. They fight back. And there's going to be casualties. There are going to be people killed. But that's the nature of war. That's the nature of occupation. We shouldn't blame the Palestinians for resisting their own ethnic cleansing. And I don't think any moral person would disagree with that.
Okay, so you said that's the nature of war. is might not right. Is that not the nature of war too? Whoever is the strongest owns the land. Is that not a nature of war too?